Hello, coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. In this episode, we are going to be discussing on three stories. We start with this report claiming that manager Javi has requested the contract renewal of Barcelona captain Sergio Busquets. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then secondly, talking about Lionel Messi, as it has been reported that Barcelona are studying ways to resign Messi in 2023. We're also going to be discussing on that report. Then lastly, talking about Pedri Gonzalez, as former Barca boss Ronald Koeman have recently heaped praise on fan favorite Barca youngster Pedri, saying that he's perfect. We are going to be discussing on what Koeman had to say about the young star. So guys, as we get right into it in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barca, Barca, Barca. Over the past couple of weeks, speculations surrounding the future of Barcelona captain Sergio Busquets have been mounting endlessly. The 34-year-old has entered the final year of his contract with the club and is believed to be on his way out next summer, with a move to MLS outfit Inter Miami FC already being touted. However, according to a fresh update from Victor Malo, it has been reported that Barca manager Xavi has requested the renewal of Busquets, as he sees the veteran midfielder as an important part of the team. Despite having turned 34, the Spanish international still remains a vital cog in his Barca setup on the pitch, as he has a clear understanding and vision of the way that Javi wants him to play. On top of that, the manager also sees him as a key member of the team off the pitch as well, due to his deep leadership skills and discipline. Someone like Busquets commands the respect of the entire team and sets an example of the players to follow, old and new alike, through his behavior. It is for these reasons that Xavi wants to keep his captain around beyond the current campaign, and while speculations in the media are running rampant about his future, Busquets himself left the door open for continuing at the club in a recent interview. However, for that to materialize, Barcelona would have to negotiate a lower contract with their club captain. Busquets is currently among the top 3 highest paid stars in La Liga in terms of gross salary, and the Catalans cannot continue to keep him on those wages if he were to renew. Talks were initiated to try and reduce his salary last summer, but they did not lead to anywhere. And the report has that any future negotiations with his agent Jose Maria Oribe will not be straightforward either. But Javi wants his former teammate to remain at Spotify Camp Nou beyond the current campaign and has requested the club to extend his contract. Whether there is any development on this front will be interesting to see. Sergio Busquets, the captain of Barcelona, has his contract set to expire next year 2023, and there have been a lot of rumors lately saying that he will leave the club. He will just follow his contract. When it expires, he leaves. But I still don't understand, why would Javi be demanding the club to extend his contract? Because if you ask me personally, I would say I wish he does not renew. Barca need to move on, go to a new era, and normally we have been talking about Alba, Piqué not getting minutes anymore, and of course some people have been praising Javi for the courage, trying to put an end to an era, trying to be gradually benching those players. But it seems as though Busquets' own is a different case. Personally, I don't want Busquets to stay beyond the season. I think he has done his part, and let's see, it's just a rumor still that Javi wants Barca to extend his contract. And of course, we've been talking a lot about Busquets' future in recent days, linked to MLS, and Barca also looking for players like Martin Zubimendi to be his perfect replacement come end of the season. So let's see actually if Barca indeed extends his contract or he leaves the club. As I said, I wouldn't lie, I really wish Busquets' time is over with the club and he should leave. I don't think it's the best idea for Barca to keep him again. Normally, talking about renewing his contract, it will really be costly because Busquets' salary is really high now, and I don't think Barca will be able to maintain paying him that same salary. Because we know whenever a player extends his contract, it's either for a salary increase or maybe the same level of salary. But I doubt if Busquets' representative will accept such, and that can still push him out of the club. Then moving on to the next story of discussion, Lionel Messi's departure from Barcelona last year came as a huge shock to the footballing community. There were very few who would have imagined that the Argentine would not end his career at Spotify Camp Nou. But the club's wage bill situation and La Liga's strict financial fair play rules meant that Barca were unable to renew Messi's expired contract and eventually ended up signing for Paris Saint-Germain for a 2-year deal. However, now that his contract with the Parisians will expire in less than a year, a return to Barcelona is being muted heavily for Messi. President Joan Laporta has admitted that the Argentine superstar's chapter at the club is not yet over, while manager Javi is also said to be open to his return. So much so that Mundo Deportivo is now reporting that Barca are studying the best possible ways to mend the relationship for Messi, so that they can resign him in the summer of 2023. The relationship between the 7-time Ballon d'Or winner and President Laporta deteriorated after the former exit from the club was handled. From the way Messi exited was a big problem. However, the club are intent on amending that and are looking at several options to make things right, starting from resigning him next year or the possibility of making him an ambassador of the club or giving him a great tribute. All options are on the table currently. Why the club would welcome the chance of resigning the Argentine captain? They need to study several factors before making such a move, like the cost of operation involved, whether there's enough space on the wage bill to accommodate him, and the team's tactics to include him. After all, Barca will be operating on a tight spending limit next season, with no levers to activate. Furthermore, Xavi is building a team for the future, and the club would need to ensure that the development is not halted either. The report states that Laporta is extremely motivated to bring Messi back to the club and has made it a challenge for himself. The Barca Supremo believes that he has let down the ex-captain as he had promised to extend his contract but could not do so because of the salary limit. PSG though are unlikely to give into that easily, as they are crazy about renewing Messi's contract. It is further stated that there are signs of improvement in the relationship between Laporta and Messi. There have been exchanges of messages even though the superstars camp denies it, and meetings between parties have taken place to study the possibility of a return. However, Barcelona are not in a position to pay Messi's current wages that he earns at PSG, and he would have to accept a pay cut first if he wants to return. Furthermore, Messi would have also to accept secondary role in the team at times as Barca build towards the future. At the same time, the report also adds that Barcelona are also planning to give Messi a tribute he richly deserves for everything he has done for the club over the past 2 decades. They would want to keep him linked to the club in a role such as global ambassador, although the report states that the Argentine would prefer a position as a technical secretariat. All said and done, efforts have been made to secure Messi's return to Barcelona one way or the other, and it remains to be seen if it materializes come 2023. Then on to the final story of discussion. In a recent interview, former Barca manager Ronald Koeman has revealed how the club were open to loaning Pedri out in 2020, but he was convinced of the teenager's ability just after a couple of training sessions. Barcelona had signed Pedri from Las Palmas back in 2019 before Koeman's arrival and had sent him back to his boyhood club on loan. So when the midfield prodigy returned to the club in 2020, aged just 17 at the time, Koeman admits that he knew very little of the youngster at the time, and Barcelona reportedly told the Dutch tactician to see how things go with the young midfielder in the preseason to assess whether he can be part of the team or needs to be sent out on loan again. He said, "When I came, I didn't know him. They had signed him from Las Palmas. The club was talking to me and said, you do the preseason and see what Pedri can do in the team. If not, we can put him out on loan." The coach Koeman adds that he was convinced of Pedri's ability in just 2 training sessions, after which he told the club that the teenager will stay put, while also adding that he might even be in the starting 11 in the near future. He said, "After 2 training sessions, I said to the club that he will stay and I will not be surprised if he plays as a starter for a few weeks." As it turns out, in a matter of weeks, Pedri go all out to start his first game for Barca in La Liga game against Getafe on October 17, and will also start a week in Clásico against Real Madrid. Heaping further praise on Pedri, Koeman said, "Pedri is fantastic. He's an incredible talent, and at that age, I think he's still 18 or 19. He's perfect. He's technically good. He has a good feel, and he's a normal human being. Without doubt, Pedri was one of the positives to come out of Koeman's era as manager of Barca. The Dutchman backed the teenager in 2020 and also handed first team debut to the likes of Xavi, Nico, and Alejandro Balde during his time at the club, all of whom are now permanent fixtures in the side. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.